So glad to have you here. So today's topic is about overcommitting and saying no. This is one of the biggest issues I see in my clients because they tend to have this little voice, in your head that reminds you there's still something to do. You feel guilty when you finally decide to relax, and you're just so driven that you want to commit to several projects at once, right? And you're constantly saying yes to things outside of ourselves, to other projects, to other people, to other things that we want to do so much, right? We're very driven people. So then we ask ourselves, why is it so hard to just prioritize? Why is this one of our biggest challenges, right? Why is it so hard to just focus on a couple of projects, just choose, right? And not say yes to everything. But we are high achievers and we want it all. Hey, mom, glad to have you here. We have a nice group today. Anyone who's watching, just say hi in the comments and just put hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. So it's hard for us when we commit to so many things at the same time. We lose focus, right? We feel overwhelmed. We want to feel more structured, more organized. And I feel like many healthy high achievers are looking for a way to organize their days, a way to restructure, a way to feel more calm somehow. But it's hard to stop committing when the plate is already full. We want to keep adding on things. And in our heads, I guess we have a huge, never ending plate, but it does have its limits. We do have our limits, and we kind of constantly cross them, and it's taking its toll on our body. If you recognize this feeling, let me know in the comments. Tell me when this has happened for you, the last time you felt it. Because when we say yes, we think we can do it all and still take enough time to ourselves, right? And what I often see is a combination of being a high achiever and being a people pleaser. So take those things together, and that's the perfect bomb, right? That's when we feel mentally drained, we feel physically drained, because we want to achieve a lot for ourselves and we also want to do a lot for other people. So there's this constant struggle in commitments, appointments, things we want to do for others. And then we do feel like, hey, I need more attention as well. I need to do more for myself as well. And that's when people end up joining the community, right, of healthy high achievers, because we know there is another way. And he says, yes, people pleaser, perfect bomb. I love that. Well, not actually. Well, we don't really love the bomb, but we do realize it is a big issue, right? And let me know, Annie, in what way are you a people pleaser? When do you really notice that you say yes to something and then you're like, ah, damn, I did it again? So with this perfect bomb, there is something that everybody seems to overlook. That is that you're always saying no to something. Whenever you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So there's no way you can actually say yes to everything. When you say yes to yet another project or another commitment or activity, you're saying no to yourself, right? You're saying no to your health. And that's a big problem I see in high achievers when I'm coaching my clients, is that one, they're saying no to themselves when they do want to say yes. And secondly, they're being hard on themselves as well. We were talking about that in the Facebook group today, how we're being so hard on ourselves as well. And he says, I think I'm getting better at it. Good. But I used to be such a people pleaser, never saying no. People used to love that about me, but when I stopped always doing it, I realized nothing happened. I was just happier. You see, nothing happened. That's beautiful. You were just more calm, more happy. And the real problem here is that we're not valuing ourselves enough, right? Or our priorities in life. And sometimes that's when I wanted to say later in this life, is that sometimes it's just about educating the people in your life, like you did, Annie. When you constantly say yes, then people get used to you being a person who always says yes. And it's sort of, we always need to educate the people we have in our lives. And some people might get annoyed when you say no, Or maybe just nothing happens, like you said, Annie. Juliet says, I love the word no. My issues have so much on my plate. Yeah. I find that I have to let go of doing more towards my business to just have a few hours a week to myself. I know. So that's what I said. We think our plate is so big, right? And Juliet, you're feeling it makes me so sad and I'm hard on myself. Yeah. So that's again, you love the word no and you know that you need to start practicing it. And for you, it's more the prioritizing part, right? Where you have so many balls to juggle with. And it's hard to put that all, we know our plate has a limit, right? And then when it doesn't fit on that plate, we start being hard on ourselves. We start thinking we could have done better. Why can't I do this all, you know? I have to remind myself to trust the process, says Julia. Yeah, super important. Trust the process and take it slow, because when we're high achievers, we want to go fast. We don't have patience. I know I don't. Um, and we just want everything to go fast, right? We don't want to wait for things to develop, or we don't want to postpone projects and focus on one right now. We want to focus on everything right now in this moment and do it all today. And when we can't, we kind of expect sort of like we think we're Superman or Superwoman, and we get disappointed when we're not, right? When we're just mere humans. And there are two questions that you can ask yourself when you find yourself in this situation. One is, how is your friendship with yourself? Again, this comes back to, what are you saying to yourself? What are the words you're saying? Would you accept a friend who said those same words to you, or would you completely finish the friendship? You know, how's your friendship with yourself? And secondly, what do you really want to prioritize in your life? Let's say the coming 3 months. What is it that you really want to create, or in your life, even? What do you really want to put first? Knowing that you cannot put everything first and you have a limited amount of energy, we all do, and we all have 24 hours in a day, and we all decide how we use it. Just realizing we cannot do everything. um, Juliet says, I tuck my tape in my pantyhose. Good. Alexandra says, this is when achievers don't think, oh gosh, no more place on my plate. We tend to think, let me do another online course on productivity. Exactly. Hey, welcome here, Alexandra. Nice to have you here. I know you're working with a lot of high achievers as well, and um, love it how we can always have a chat about that, how we were high achievers and we had to learn how to let go of our productivity addiction, right? Because we Google so many productivity hacks, and when we think, oh, I cannot manage my time, I need to do a course on time management, or like you say, productivity. And in the end, it's realizing that. And that is why the first step in my roadmap for healthy high achievers is that we need to create more space. We need to create more space in our schedule. We need to live a more simple life. We need to create more mental calmness before we add on anything else, before we even start changing our diet or we start exercising, or in healthy high achievers, when we want to take care of ourselves, we also tend to do too much. We're like, and I want to meditate, and I want to. So the first step is, yeah, letting go of trying to be useful and productive all the time. So that's why when you boost these two, your friendship with yourself and what you want to prioritize in your life, it gets easier to say no. Because when you have a really good friendship with yourself and you have that burning yes towards yourself, but your priorities as well, the projects you have in life, when you really reflect on what's truly important to you, that makes it possible to say no to other things. And it's a skill you need to practice. So on the one hand, it's that creating that burning yes, more like having a better friendship with yourself, having that drive for the projects that you prioritize. When that is burning, then it's practicing the skill of saying no, because it's something that you need to practice, right? I'm just checking the comments here. Juliet says, yes, it's so hard when you are a mama and your kids' time is added to your time. Exactly. You're dividing your energy in all these different, it's not only you, right? It's not only you you're taking care of. You have a family to take care of as well. And it's their agenda and your agenda that you have to mix. I agree, you're the same issue. Alexandra says, by the way, I absolutely love your lives. Thank you, Alexandra. That's so sweet. Amazing energy, great message delivered in a brilliant way. Thank you. I love hanging out with you guys here, and the input that you bring, that's really what makes these lives. Because I just have a topic I want to chat about, but then it's really what spontaneously comes up from you. That's what brings this to life, right? And that's what will help other high achievers who watch the replay as well to recognize themselves in it. To when you're sharing examples, they're like, oh, I have the same problem. And it's what Annie says right now as well, right? I have the same issue. The mommy time and your time. And Juliet says, this is when we have to not have mom guilt. Yeah. So we have high achievers guilt, right, towards ourselves, but then people who have kids even have that mom guilt. It is so important to be well, to be a good mom. And our kids need to learn by our example about self-care. Yeah. So I see this similarly with the friends we have, the family, our roommates, whoever we have in our lives. It's our kids that we teach as well, but anyone we have in our lives who's around us, we need to educate them, because what I'm always talking about with healthy high achievers is creating this ripple effect, right? Because when you as a person start taking care of yourself, you start saying no, you prioritize, and you tell your friends, hey, I need an evening to myself. And they hear that, they understand that, and they will start copying that. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So your kids become the average of you. Of course, they spend a lot of time with you and you're their example. They look up to you. And your friends as well, you start copying each other's behavior if you want it or we don't. So it's sort of that education towards the people around us. And this topic about saying no and having more empty spaces in your schedule and taking better care of yourself, this is really something I tackle in the new 12-week program that I'm creating. So now that I have you guys here, I wanted to take the opportunity to ask if you're interested in being part of the first beta group of my 12-week program in April. I'm just going to put up a question here or a poll. There it is. Normally you can see it now. Hey Ingrid, nice to have you here. So this program, guys, that I'm creating, it's gonna launch in April, and I'm working with a few guinea pigs, a few of you already, to test it out one-on-one to see what comes up. And it's really about creating more mental space, to creating more feeling of calm, but also feeling organized, focused, and creating a daily rhythm that really suits you. So one of the topics, one of the modules that are in there is saying no, learning to say no. So this is an interesting skill that we all need to learn. And it's definitely a big part of, if you want to create a daily rhythm that suits you and you want to feel more structured, feel more organized, and feel like you're a healthy high achiever, this is one of the most crucial skills we need to learn. Because when you say no, imagine you say no to more people, to more projects, you will have less commitments, you will have less on your plate. And another tip I wanted to give you, so one thing is saying no, and the other thing is on a Sunday, for example, look at your weekly schedule. Just look at it from a perspective, just very realistic, and ask yourself, is this doable? Is this doable or is it too much? Where do I have time for myself here in the schedule? Where is my downtime? Where is the resting, right? What can I leave out? So when you're leaving out stuff, that's when you're starting to say no, and you're practicing how to say no. So you really ask yourself, how can I simplify my week? And I feel like we are naturally high achievers. I am one too. So I always want to commit to more as well. So it's a very active weekly exercise that I do, because I constantly need to tone down a bit and just prioritize. And sometimes I make a mind map, or sometimes, it helps to just see, have a visual look at my schedule. For everyone, there's a different method. But it helps to always take a step back, because when you're in the rush of life, you're just doing things, saying yes to things, busy with your projects. But you always have that moment. And I think Sundays are really good for that. Take a step back, look at it, and be like, okay, it's kind of like a meeting with yourself. It's kind of re strategizing. How do we do this week? Is this doable? And he says, not just doable, but also, will this leave me completely depleted? Yeah, it might be doable, but then you're dead at the end of the week. And that's also a typical high achiever thing. We're like, yeah, it's doable, but when I say doable, I also mean within our energy levels, right? Not just the 24 hours we have in a day, but doable also means, within your energy bucket. Can I do this? And that's a danger, because we always say, yes, I can do this. We tend to say it a bit too much. We tend to we tend to say to everything in life, we say, yes, I can do this, right? But yeah, that's the good question. Like, okay, I can probably do this, but I will probably push, and then I will feel depleted and I will feel drained at the end of the week. So that's why it's so important. And I always talk about taking breaks, taking time for yourself before you're feeling depleted, before your energy bucket is empty, right? Because that's when you need to recharge. And that's where we want to find that balance, right? Because you're a high achiever. I am a high achiever, and you will always want to take on things. I will always want to take on things. And when our schedule is too full, I don't know who of you checked out the Empty Schedule, also a mini online course I created for you. It's a method I created to really avoid this, what we're talking about today, overcommitting. And it talks about having empty spaces in your schedule, right? And that seems so scary to us, because we see a schedule and we start thinking in units of time instead of units of energy. So that's the whole deal. We think, oh, there's an empty space in my schedule, I can fill this up. But we don't really ask, okay, but how's my energy level? So if you have any questions about this, guys, or any comments, anything that you can relate to, just let me know in the comments. We can continue this discussion here. This is what I wanted to leave you with, really. In summary, when you have when you say yes too much, you have two questions you can ask yourself, right? How's your friendship with yourself, and what do you really want to prioritize in your life? Okay, these two. Then it's a question of having a burning yes towards what you do want and towards yourself. That will make it easier to say no. And on the other hand, it's also a skill. So challenge yourself to say no more often, right? It's a skill that you need to practice. And look at your weekly schedule. Just have a very realistic look at it. Just have it in front of you and ask yourself, is this doable not only units of time? Is this doable with my energy levels? Do I have enough moments of rest? Can I actually do this, or where is my downtime? Where is my time of resting? Okay, so thank you guys all for being here today. It was really nice chatting with you. If you have any questions, just put it in the comments. I wish you a really great week. And these are the last days of the Give Your Brain a Break audio series as well. The 10-day challenge ends in 2 days, but you can do it anytime you need it, in the middle of a busy day. Just 5 minutes a day is enough to calm down that busy brain, calm down your nervous system, and learn how to really pace, how to divide your energy, and how to really take a break in the middle of a busy day. Okay. So, guys, Juliet says, thank you, Maya. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, everyone. And happy to have you here, and see you next week. Bye.